In this module, we have implemented the delete logic in the friend storage application. Now the user can delete a friend. While testing and implementing this use case, we have seen a typical advantage of test-driven development. After writing the unit test, the implementation is quite simple. So as soon as you know how to test something, you will also know how to implement it. When we delete a friend in the friend storage application, we need to remove the item from the navigation and we need to close the tab. To do this, we have defined the friend deleted event. As you have seen in this and in previous modules, Prism's events can easily be used in your unit tests. Okay, so we are done with this module. Now there is one thing I don't like, and I mentioned it already in the last clip. When the user clicks the delete button, the friend is immediately deleted. Instead, I want to show a dialog to the user where he can choose yes or no. So he has to confirm that he really wants to delete the friend. And this is exactly what we will do in the next module when you learn how to display dialogs from your view model so that you can still unit test the code of your view model. Welcome to the module Interacting with Dialogs in MVVM. My name is Thomas Claudius Huber, and in this module I will show you how you can display a dialog from your view model and how you can test it. Before we start, let's take a quick look at the module outline. The first thing that I want to show you in this module is the problem with dialogs in the view model. You will see that you can't use a dialog like the message box directly in your view model because then it's not testable. Then we will learn how to make the view model with the dialog testable, and we will display a dialog in the friend storage application when deleting a friend. We will ask the user if he really wants to delete the friend when he clicks the delete button. Then he can choose yes or no. Okay, cool. So let's start with the problems with dialogs in the view model. Here I've opened a friend in the friend storage application. When I click the delete button, that friend is immediately deleted. Instead of just deleting the friend, I want to ask the user, do you really want to delete the friend? And the user can choose yes or no. Before we write a unit test for this logic, let's just spike it in the friend edit view model by using a message box directly in the view model. Then we will see the problem that you will get when you use dialogs directly in your view model. So let's go to the friend edit view model and let's just use the message box here. So we want to go to the onDeleteExecute method of the delete command. Okay, in that method we call the delete friend method of the data provider and we publish the friend deleted event with the ID of the deleted friend. Now let's just display a message box here. So we need a using directive for system Windows. And on that message box, I call the show method and I ask the user, do you really want to delete the friend? Okay. As a title, I just say delete friend. And I want to display the message box buttons yes and no. I just store the result from that show method. And now I can make an if statement here and I can check the result. Only if the result is yes, then I want to execute my logic here to delete the friend and to publish the friend deleted event. Now when we run the application, This works of course like expected. We get a message box where we are asked, do you really want to delete the friend? I can click no and nothing happens. When I click yes, the friend gets deleted. Okay, but now let's see what happens in our unit tests. We have two unit tests that actually execute this onDeleteExecute method. Let's open up the friendEditViewModel tests class. When I scroll to the bottom of this file, you see here the two methods should call delete friend when delete command is executed and should publish friend deleted event when delete command is executed. In both methods, we execute the delete command. Now when I run the unit tests, you will see a special thing. Now you see, while running my unit tests, the message box pops up. So in our unit tests, we get the message box, which is really ugly because it is blocking the unit test. Now I just click yes, and the message box comes up again for the second test method that is using the delete command. I click yes one more time, and now all my tests have finished. So using a dialog like the message box in your view model leads to manual interaction while running the unit tests. In fact, your unit tests are no more unit tests because they need this manual interaction. The manual interaction is just one problem. Another problem is that you can't unit test the interaction logic with the dialog in your view model. Only if the user clicks yes in the dialog, we want to delete the friend. And we want to write a unit test to test that logic that is part of the friendEditViewModel. Okay, so using a dialog like the message box directly in the view model is a bad idea. So let's just go back to our friendEditViewModel and let's remove the message box here. We can't use it this way, but we have to find another way how to do it. In the previous clip, we looked at the delete command of the friendEditViewModel. When the delete command was executed, we displayed a message box. But we have seen that the message box will block our unit tests. So it's a bad idea to display the message box from a view model. But how can you test your view model when you need to display a message box? The answer is, you need to abstract away that message box dependency. To do this, we will introduce a message dialog service in this module. That message dialog service is just a class that has a method to show a message box. We will also introduce an interface that is called iMessageDialogService, and the MessageDialogService class will implement that interface. Our friendEditViewModel will depend on that iMessageDialogService interface. It will just take an instance of that interface type as a constructor parameter. And this is what we will do now. We will introduce the iMessageDialogService interface, and we will add it as a constructor parameter to the friendEditViewModel. So let's switch to Visual Studio. Here we are back in the FriendStorage application. Now let's open up the FriendStorage UI project and let's add a new folder that we call Dialogs. In that folder, I create my new interface iMessageDialogService. Okay, let's make the interface public and let's add a method that we call showYesNo_dialog. And we just take a string with the title and a string with the message. But this method should not return void, it should return a result, yes or no. So let's also define that result as a enum here. I just call it message dialog result. And I just specify the two values yes and no. Okay, and now our show yes no dialog method returns a message dialog result. We don't care about the implementation yet, as we do test-driven development. So for the moment, to run our unit tests, we just need the interface. Now let's go to the friend-edit-view model and let's add a constructor parameter in that view model. Here we just add an iMessage dialog service constructor parameter. So we need the friend storage UI dialogs namespace. And we just store that service in a field. And for sure, Visual Studio generates that field for us. Okay, here we go. Now let's try to build the solution. And we get an error in the friend-edit-view-model test class. So let's double-click it here. And now I am in the friend-edit-view-model test class. Here we create a new friend-edit-view-model. And now for sure, we need another mock object for our new iMessage dialog service. So let's just create that mock object here. Let's add the using directive for friend storage UI dialogs. And let's store the mock object in a field. So here we have it. Okay. Now let's pass in the instance of that mock object to our friend-edit-view-model constructor. Now let's try to build the solution. And the build succeeded. Now we can write our unit test and implement the logic to display a yes-no dialog.